Doc Ellis, your hick doctor from Oklahoma. November 24th, happy Thanksgiving. I am thankful, I am damn thankful that I've done 1,590 trials and depositions, helping federal employees, veterans, others. Every time I've been to federal criminal court, I've never lost a case, by the way, for federal court, the judge threatens the prosecuting attorney with contempt and even jail. And I'm just so grateful that I kick ass. If you do federal workers' comp and you don't do oral hearings, you don't go to federal criminal court, you're not doing a good job, stop doing it. If you do state workers' comp, you're going to do depositions. If you're going to do personal injury like car wrecks, you're going to go to trial. If you want to do federal workers' comp and you're not willing to go to federal court, then stop doing it. Quit cherry picking. Know what you're doing. You guys are throwing up all over the place. And I'm not thankful for that. Chrystal, heard about Ellis Clinic. Could you provide me with an OWCP Schedule Award Rating? Sure, that's what we do. You need to come to Ellis Clinic. I hate to tell you that, but you've got the AMA guides. This book right here that you do this. Now, the AMA guides are great. If your doctor knows just the AMA guides, you're going to get screwed. The AMA guides, Christopher Brigham does work for insurance companies. In the book, it says if you have a rotator cuff surgery, a labrum surgery, and a biceps tendon surgery in the shoulder, you can rate one condition. Now that's just fraud. Damn! This came out in 2009, and I've been screaming since 2009 how unfair it is as compared to the 5th edition. And in January of this year, AMA, the Department of Labor, said you've cost injured federal employees $1 billion. Well, $900 million. You let these people working for insurance companies into your back door. You need to listen to me. You're not going to, because I wouldn't listen to me. I would yelling at you. FECA Bulletin 17.6, that's the Federal Employment Compensation Act Bulletin, says the 6th edition is stupid. If you have 3 conditions, you rate all 3, doctor. That's worth coming from New Jersey. Sure, we do schedule awards. Nobody else does them well. Mercy tried to do it for 2 years, and they did it like state. Guys got screwed. And most people don't know that there's no apportionment. You had a high school basketball knee surgery, you're in the Army, had a knee surgery, and then you have a car wreck and have a knee surgery. You would rate the knee, whatever it is, and then you'd have to divide it up the different causes. In federal, the whole thing's covered, even if it's just a strain and you had a bad knee before. 100% covered. And don't just get, if someone's not trained in this, unfortunately, there's no training for federal workers' comp and VA for doctors. There's no legal medicine training for that. So a guy had 5 knee surgeries. The doctor did it under federal workers' comp, so he didn't have to pay copay on insurance. And when will I be at max medical improvement? Well, the doctor correctly said, with what he was trained as, well, never. You're always going to need shots of physical therapy. Under the federal workers' comp law, you're ready. That's maintenance therapy. It's not going to make a difference. It would have cost him $310,000. So that's what he got for the VA Schedule Award done at Ellis Clinic. And it's in the book. Now, one thing about this 6th edition, it is very, very nitpicky, and the district medical advisors know it really well, and almost everything is sent to the district medical advisors, and they check, and it's pretty fair. It's just lower than it should be, okay? But at least they don't go, if I rate someone 20-some, I'm not writing 5 just out of pulling it out of their asshole, okay? But still, it's unfair, but that's what we've got. But it's better than just what we used to have. This is Butch from Florida. Viet Nam vet, that covers everything. Rated peripheral neuropathy. After years so, this VA cut down the rating. What kind of asshole would do that? A lying, fraudulent asshole. Damn, bullshit. Not being filed a year after discharge. You don't have to file the year after discharge. You need to get a Nexus report for someone that says you've been exposed to Agent Orange and dioxin, and it takes years to develop. It's not going to happen the first year. If that's the rule, that's just stupid. It takes a long time for that neuropathy from that digoxin exposure to develop. Get your neuropathy. Okay. They didn't make a mistake, they screwed you. You understand that? There's a difference. You're going to refile. Now, you've had open heart surgery. You've been in Viet Nam, that's covered. You have tinnitus. That contributes to hypertension and all cardiovascular disease, whether it's stroke or heart attack or peripheral hardening of the arteries, is covered under the VA law. VA laws are ridiculously fair. If it's contributed this much, it's covered. Federal workers' comp is contributed this much, covered. State workers' comp, like in Oklahoma, it's got to be 51% cost. Criminal law is beyond a reasonable shadow of doubt. But doctors are not trained in legal medicine. All we learned in medical school about legal medicine is malpractice prevention and that lawyers don't go to heaven. You need to get all that stuff done. But don't be surprised when the VA does this stuff. Guys, there's a bias against anybody that files a claim, whether it's VA or car wreck or workers' comp. Everybody has it. No one believes they have it. At least if you're a member of the KKK, you know you hate black people. A member of Hamas, you know hate the Jews. At least you can be honest about that. But most people have that bias. When I started doing this 100 years ago, I thought 60% would be honest, 40% would be fake. Amongst normal doctors, everyday doctors, then me pro-injured person. So all that's covered. You need to get somebody who knows what to do, and guess who's that is you're talking to him. Okay, now this is Myles from Nevada, VA, denied sleep apnea, and then before they're going to change the rating for sleep apnea. Should I file again? Yeah, file, but get a Nexus report first. If you file anything with the VA and you don't have a Nexus report, you have been given bad advice. Now, my veteran service officers always talk to your veteran service officers questions like this. They know what's going on. But what I found that they don't do is they don't get a Nexus report. They just send in the medical records that you have. They will never say the magic words. Every system has magic words. You need someone that knows the legal medicine words and how to discuss it and explain it. And doctors are not trained in that. You have sleep apnea, and if you have sleep apnea, atrial fib, that's a Nexus. Tinnitus, absolutely, it contributes to hypertension, makes your blood vessels, makes your heart atrium get bigger and makes them more irritable, and atrial fib. Tinnitus will do that. It's got case law and medical evidence for that. So all that's covered. But go to somebody who knows what they're doing. I mean, people come in here, 1 or 2 conditions, they said, you're sitting on 5. Now here's Kayla from Texas, good old Texas, OWCP. I've been binge watching your videos. She was hurt in September. Registered nurse, patient VA assaulted you, contusion of the head. You need to file for brain injury. Most people don't know how to diagnose it. I mean, really don't know how to diagnose it. My daughter worked on her psych degree. We went to our charts. We pulled the charts that started from last name started from A through D. We found 103 head injury patients and made sure they were plaintiffs. In other words, someone trying to get money, chance to lie to get money, plaintiffs, and diagnosed of head injury by CT scan, MRI, or neuropsych test, which is a 2-day test. Not just symptoms. We found 103 head injury patients. So man, we do a lot of head injuries. I used to have a walking wounded clinic because there wasn't anybody to take care of walking wounded, and I had speech therapists and psychiatrists, and we get together, family, explain things. So I've been in head injuries a long time. But anyway, what's interesting is they might mention headaches, but they won't mention memory loss. Or difficulty thinking, missing words, loss of sense of direction. That's on the patient information form where you fill all that stuff out. They come from plaintiff attorneys. 76% didn't mention that. It's the same way if you ask a guy if he's had a back injury, does the nerve of your penis work? Do you still get a hard on? You got to ask him. But we watched John Wayne get knocked out and get up and he's normal. That doesn't happen. There is no such thing as a minor injury. You can't shake the child's head. It severs the dendrites. There is no minor head injury. The NFL dumber than shit. Listen to a neurologist denying head injury. We've known about boxing and this stuff forever. Take it all the way to federal court in Chicago the day before, and they settle. Jesus. Goodell, bad PR. Well, at least now you give it help. Now we're going after it. But you had to be slapped in the face to find that out. That's the bias against the injured litigant. You have it, you just didn't know it. Okay, she's got neck and arms and that kind of stuff. MRI. You need someone that knows what's going on. You need to get someone that will put all that together and make sure all conditions are covered. You're with federal workers' comp. They're now being told we're going to start fighting everything. Even they were bad before, but I predict that this year, 2026, they're going to fight everything. And so the poor claims examiner that's honest and truthful is going to get a lot of flack, a lot of heaviness. Just fight this stuff. I could understand an insurance company do that, but your federal government's going to be screwing you. They do it now. It depends on your claims examiner, who is a judge and jury with a 12th grade education, no medicine training, no law training. But they're also swamped. There's no way you can see this complicated stuff in legal medicine. You should never have to do more than 4 patients a day. They got a huge load. I don't know how they keep up, so God bless you, claims examiners. Can a claims examiner delay a second op? Yeah, claims examiners do anything they want, okay. But you can ask for an extension. You got 30 days to get a doctor's report. You can't find a doctor who does this. You go, now to become a provider for the Federal Workers' Comp, you sign up, put your name, and you get a provider number. And if you don't have a criminal law, you got it. So the claims examiners, look at all those providers here. No, they aren't. You go there and you just print out the list and start calling. No, we did it once, we'll never do it again. No, we don't do it anymore. We did it once, we'll never do it again. We did it once, we'll never do it again. There are very, very, very few providers. First OPT doctor, there is no such thing as an OWCP doctor. You get to pick your doctor. They can't send you to the doctor for treatment. Now they can send you to the emergency room on the day, but you need to pick your doctor who's going to decide. Or if you've got a doctor, like your family doctor or somebody seen you, they don't ask them to fill out these stuff and forms they don't know. Send them to somebody as a consultation, OWCP legal medicine consultation. We'll do the scut work. Doesn't cost you, doesn't cost them anything. We'll get it all taken care of. We'll get you all approved for it. We know the law, especially if we've done this many federal criminal court cases. My God, I know more federal workers' comp than any supervisor of any clinic I know. Tinker Air Force Base. I get letters from the Department of the Air Force, HR Department, Pentagon. Would you please send me these records? Blah 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 blah. That's a 1974 Privacy Act felony, you dumbass. You could be fined or imprisonment. I could have the general out there put in jail. I'm not going to do it. I like having planes taking care of me. But you guys are not trained. You don't have my training. It's all OJT. The book out there doesn't tell you. I am the book. I know I sound obnoxious because I'm pissed. Because I'm right. Okay. 4 entries, you got all kinds of stuff. They gave me 30 days to submit proof. Cite the reference where you come up with 30 days. You can't find an appointment in 30 days. And so what you do, you get your doctor. If they're going to pull that 30 days deal, then we ask for an oral hearing. Now, in federal and VA, once you get to the next level, like you go Veterans Appeals, Google Veterans Appeals, and then Google Ellis, or Doc Ellis, or John Ellis, or whatever. We've relied on Dr. Ellis's Nexus report. Based on Dr. Ellis' report, remand. Based on Dr. Ellis, remand. That means start over. Because the people at the VA don't know what they're doing, and the lay people don't know what they're doing. I'm licensed to do brain surgery. If I do it, it's malpractice. Okay. So, it's legal medicine. Most people never even heard the term. You have an MD and then a JD and an attorney. You still don't know how to do this. That doesn't qualify you. So you pick your doctor, and your doctor in federal workers' comp has more probative value. That's one reason why we always win. I tell the truth. I don't care who it hair lifts, including you, and we win. Now, like in motor vehicle accidents or VA, the law is presumed that the nurse practitioner and PA that see you, or doctor at the VA see you, and your doctor are equal. Well, if you get a report from me, print out my curriculum vitae. Then have them print out the curriculum vitae of your PA or your doctor or the nurse practitioner. No, this is not apples and oranges. This is a pea to watermelon. No one's got my training. No, I've been doing seminars since 2004 for the federal government, for the unions, for people, for vets. Nobody's had my training. No one's done my teaching. I am the book. And my staff knows more than I do. I'm smart enough to know that. Okay. More time to process? Absolutely, you can do that. If not, let's just get your doctor to ask for an oral hearing. Okay. If Scott, VA from Texas, entrance exam in 77, had a prior meningisectomy of your knee. That's enough. If you've had a prior surgery in your knee, basic training is going to make it worse than the other knee. Pre-existing under VA and federal, if it's accelerated, aggravated, the slightest amount, it's covered. You got flat feet, they get flatter, it's covered. You have plantar fasciitis, stuff in your shoes before you go in service, and it's going to get worse. And it's covered, 100%. First since federal. You're born with a club foot, and have a high school basketball knee surgery and a car wreck knee surgery, and then you're in the Marines, you have another knee surgery, and you work for the government, you have a strain. The way I rate the leg, the entire leg, totally as is, I don't apportion it, don't break it up, and add the club foot to it. The law is ridiculously fair. No one knows the law, no one follows it. I mean, no one. So it's only temporary flare-up. How in the hell can somebody read your records and say that's a temporary flare-up unless they call you a liar? Temporary flare-up, that's got to be continuous, seeing them every day and it goes away. A one-time visit, one time, you cannot make that prediction. It's like saying no loss of consciousness. Everybody does that. That is bullshit. I've seen so many head injuries that don't remember the accident, don't remember after the accident, and if I hypnotize them, I cannot bring that memory back because it never got put on the tape. And yet they got up, walked out of the car wreck with a broken leg, and talked, and it looked like they were okay. But until you do the nuances of brain injury, you're not going to pick it up. By the way, doctors, VA worksheet 8045 for traumatic brain injury is an excellent, detailed thing on head injury. A mini mental is just picking up Alzheimer's. Mini mental doesn't mean anything about head injuries. If it's picked up on the mini mental, then that head injury starts at 70. If they miss one little thing on a mini mental, which is a very crude test, but it's a quick test to see if someone's developing early Alzheimer's. And it's what we do all the time. And doctors know that. But a negative mini mental doesn't mean you don't have head injury. You gotta go into detail. It's a hard thing to make a diagnosis of brain damage. And most people don't know how bad it is. Okay. So, your knee's covered. But you need to have someone with balls that knows what they're doing, knows how to ride an export. And veteran service officers, you've got to start getting Nexus reports, DBQs. Or if all you had was a DBQ, that's enough. The latest thing, the rating officers, the raters have to apply it. They don't, but they're required to. So a DBQ is not required, but it's a good thing to have. Now, I will not do a DBQ by itself. I'll do a Nexus and a DBQ. Now, we charge $500 for a condition. Like, now, hearing loss and tinnitus, that's one. If you got a neck and both arms tingling, I count that as one. Back and both legs tingle, I count that as one. But if you have two knees, that's two conditions, $500 apiece. DBQs are $300. You don't get a DBQ for PTSD and tinnitus and hearing loss, okay? But don't worry about that. But DBQs are worthwhile, right? But go online and see what everybody else charges, and do not go to anybody that's going to get a piece of your rating. That's unethical. It's very ethical for a lawyer to do contingency. If we win, I get a piece of the pie. If I win your Social Security, you pay me so much. If I win your FERS, you pay me so much. Otherwise, poor people couldn't get it off. But doctors cannot split fees. If I refer somebody for surgery, he can't even buy me lunch, which is a really good rule. It ought to be a law in federal that you cannot get a piece of somebody's rating. But indirectly, I do that. You may come in, you think you have 1 or 2 things, and you walk out, and I've done a master of 7. Okay, because I know the law and I know how fair it is. But we'll just give you the 2 that you paid for. But if you want to pay for the others later, as money comes in, but that's up to you. I'm not getting a piece of it. But I do that. Or if you're broke, come on in. We'll get you started. I mean, we're not going to turn to widows and poor vets. You really don't know what you have until you come in and I tell you. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm thankful. God, I love doing kicking ass. I love bullying bullies. So I'm just telling you, government, you better straighten up and fly right.
And Doc, you mind if I pan over and show
Sure,
some
pan
of
over.
your
Okay. Okay. Now, I have 42 certificates, degrees, blah, 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 on the wall here and outside. 18 in medicine, which is a ridiculous amount, and the rest in legal medicine that no one's ever heard of. My chief revenue officer is a 10X Cardone consultant. When he went and took his class, they'd never heard the term legal medicine. They invest in medicine. No one does. Mercy tried to do state, federal workers' comp, couldn't do it, quit. My wife's hips were done at McBride, wonderful orthopedic group, won't even do federal workers' comp. Okay? And so most people don't know what they're doing. And so if you go to your family doctor to fill out a form, don't do that. That's not fair. Unless he's trained or she's trained, and then that's great. Okay, pan it up.
Thanks,
So,
Doc.
and if you want to, you can go to ellisclinic.com, click Ellis and curriculum vitae. So if you do have a VA or something for me, or a federal, print out the curriculum, my curriculum vitae, and put it in e-comp or send it with your report to the VA. Say, I want to see the doctor I saw, the second opinion. I want to see their curriculum vitae. Okay, I've been studying this stuff for a long time, being 83 years old. Okay? Love you all.